Oh, I wasn't ready. Dang it. Hi, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Brittany, and today's video, I am talking about my October wrap up. This video is my 100,000 million take. I don't know what it is with me today. I just can't get it right. So hopefully, this would be the take I'll get to use. Hopefully, I'm planning on posting this video. If I don't, I'm sorry. If I do, hello, hi, how's your Sunday? My Sunday is pretty much good. It's very windy and it's very cold. So, October, man, it came and went. Hello, November. I feel like I couldn't enjoy October. I feel like I blinked and it's November 3rd. Is it 3rd? Yes, November 3rd. Um, let's see, I read a total of 10 books. I did read the five that I was planning on reading. Before I get started, I just want to give a little PSA. Some of these books that I've read, the rating that I gave them versus my thoughts do not match. Overall, despite my thoughts of some of these books, I did have an entertaining time. Um, and you'll see a theme. You'll see a theme real quick later down the line of what I thought of some of these books. But I do want to say I did enjoy them despite my rating and how I felt about it, if that makes sense. So if you're looking for a more um, very serious, um, I don't know, a serious, highbrow, up nose response, that's not this video. I am not your girl. I, despite of what I thought, well, you'll find out. That's where I'm just going to leave it as. You'll understand and probably real quick. So I'm going to start with the last book that I've read in October, and then I'll end it with the first book that I read. So the last book that I read is a Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulley, and I read this book. No, I listened to this book on Hoopla. So it's about our main character, Adonis. What's her last name? Fontaine, I think that was her last name. And she's basically a biracial, unenrolled tribal member in the tribe of I wrote it down. Hold on. It's a tribe called Ojibwe. Let me say that. I was trying not to cough and talk at the same time. Ojibwe on the reservation, and she's kind of a product of a scandal that goes on between her father and her mother when her parents was 16. So once her father had passed, she kind of had to put her goals and dreams on hold to take care of her mother. And later down the line, something happens within the family, and essentially she has to help the FBI uh, on a, I don't want to say secret mission, but kind of like a, and I don't want to say co-op mission, but kind of just be like the eyes and ears of the community of what's going on with young adults in the community. And this book, I think I rated this book a 5 stars, and I I disappointed myself in a way that it took me this long to finally read this book. I think the book came out in 2021. I bought the book a year later, and then 2 years later, I'm just not reading it. I've been putting it off when I've been trying to read it. So, but I think this book, it's a this book, and then there's another book that I read that I'll mention later on. Um, it's a good I think this book here, it's a very good introduction on Native American culture and heritage and language. Did I say language? Um, I feel like I did, but tradition. That's the word I was looking for of what goes on a reservation. And and also, if you did not know, uh, the month of November is Native American Heritage Month. So if you need a book to read, this would be a good book to read. I will recommend reading this book. Um, and um, I threw myself off, but oh, that's what I want to say. And this book here is just beautifully written, and very heartbreaking too. It's just basically of without getting giving things away of the book. It's just kind of you trust people. No, that's not the saying I want to say. It's like the people that you think you can trust, you can't trust. Um, and how people use power on certain situations, and and the ending is kind of a bittersweet ending. It's not a happy ending, so just keep that in mind. But it is a very I don't know. I really I'm trying not to give away anything. This is gonna be a spoil free review. So, but yes, please read the book. It's good. I like it. 5 stars. And then my next book, um, this next book here, uh, it's called "I'm Thinking of Ending Things" by, I think his name is Ian Reed, and I listened to this book on Libby, and it's about a couple who are going to meet. Our main character, I should say. Let me backtrack a little bit, because our main character, she goes on a trip with her boyfriend to meet his parents, and weird eerie vibes are happening on the way there and after they leave the parents' house. This book I rated a what did I rate? I rated a 3 stars, only because towards the end of the book, I was I was kind of confused, and kind of like you just have to. I actually would recommend uh listening to it to kind of get I don't want to. I guess I mean I even listened to it and I didn't catch the content. Actually, that's not true. I did catch some of the content clues of what's happening. I do want to watch the movie that is on Netflix, to see how true it is with the book, but also kind of visually see it, because it's very interesting hearing it through audio. And our narrator is not a reliable narrator. Just keep that in mind. But that book, and the reason why I rated a 3 stars, because I was going to rate it like a 2.5, but there's a part in the book where I wasn't for sure what was happening, so I had to look it up to kind of see if I was right or wrong. So, thank you, Reddit, I guess, to help me on that. Um, I would say it's not a scary book. It's more of uh, um, I guess it's kind of like a thriller, um, like a tense thriller, because as you're listening to it, and maybe if you're reading it, you're kind of like, "What's happening? What's happening? I don't know why." Kind of situation is not so much of like, "Oh, I can't read this book at night." Um, Actually, I probably wouldn't read it at night, because there's some scenes that happen in the middle of nowhere, makes me uncomfortable. So read it in the daylight or in the nighttime, whatever you feel. I read this uh at work on breaks, on the record. I was listening to it on my luncheon breaks. But anyways, did I mention yeah, I did mention that I found it on Edit. I mean, on edit on Reddit, and I'm excited, not excited, but I'm curious what how the movie is. So I'll watch that soon, hopefully. The next book is another book, The Boyfriend by my unhinged queen, Frida McFadden. And I read this book on my Kindle. I I wasn't planning on reading this book at all. But I keep seeing it. People kept talking about it. So I was like, fine, I'll read it. And this book, I think I haven't read all of Frida McFadden's books. I just want to preface that I've only read The Housemaid, this book, and I feel like there's another book I read from her. Is there? I don't remember, but I do have in my TBR for this year. I may not get to it at all. Is the coworker, but there's a couple books I'm going to read from her. I'm currently reading the third book um, from the Housemaid series. But anyways, I'm rambling on because I have no words for this book, uh, especially the twist towards the end. I was not expecting the twist. Like I was expecting the twist, but not how it happened. I wasn't expecting, if that makes sense. And then the very end. Um, and I said unhinged because it kind of like took a I thought it was going to go left, but it went right and it made a U-turn and then it decided to go left and then here I am. Um and it is double or not double, it is a dual point of view. So if you're into that, this is the book for you. I would say that um the point of views, one of the point of views do go back like a flashback here and there, and it jumps to present time and then go flash. So that kind of takes a moment to get used to. But if you're not into dual point of view, I don't want to say don't read it, but proceed with caution, if that makes sense. But I did give I did give this a 4-star rating just because I was entertained. um I had a fun time. I know a lot of people either don't like Frida McFadden, or they do. Um, I still, I don't know. Most of her books are quick reads, so that's why I gravitate towards her. She has so many books. Um, I feel like all her books is everywhere I go. But that one's a good read. I'll recommend that one. So that one's, did I say it's a 4-star? Yeah, that one's a, a 4-star. I'm just thinking that twist at the end. But anyways, speaking of twists at the end, my next book is The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. I listened to this book on, I wrote it down, on Spotify. And I don't know. I mean, I gave it, I gave it a 3-star only because when the twist happened, and from the twist to the end, I feel like it dragged. Um, because I feel like there was too many, oh, it's this, but actually it's this. Oh, it's not, just kidding, it's this kind of situation. So I feel like at that point I was ready for the book to end. Um, and that was just me by listening to it. I do have the physical copy, but for the most part, it was a fun read. Besides my feeling towards the twist in the end, um, but I do, if it becomes a movie, I have some actresses in mind playing certain characters. Um, I don't know if I'm going to post it here. I won't get into details on that, but um, I do have another book from Grady. It's the Southern Vampire one. I don't remember what is that one called? I think it's the guide. What is it called? Hold on. Brady. And the reason why I feel like you know why why I rate this book a 3, not only because the twist and the ending kind of fell. I don't want to say it fell flat. It felt kind of dragged on a little bit, but I also kind of it felt to me it came off like I was reading a script off a movie. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I feel like I rather see this book as a movie than a book, if that makes sense, respectfully. But the book that I also have that I am going to read um, maybe next year for my Halloween read is the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires is the one that I also have um, the physical copy of. So I don't know if I'm going to read that anytime soon. I'll probably push that till my next Halloween read as well. Um, but like I said, I had a good time. It was entertaining. It was just some parts kind of dragged on, and it was funny. Also, I just want to preface that too. Um, Anything else that I'm missing from my notes? Nope, that was it. And then the next book, which is also a the author's Native American as well. It's also a thriller called Looking for Smoke by K.A. Coble. And I listened to this book on Libby. And this is about a reservation that that two girl oh I said that backwards. There's two girls that went missing on a reservation, and one of I think it's four friends. One of the friends' sister is one of the girls that went missing, and so they're prime suspects of because they were the last, essentially last four people who saw her sister that gone missing. So it kind of shows um you know, they're trying to clear their names of what happened to her. And I'm trying to figure out what I rated this book as. Oh, I rated a 4-star book, and um I trying to think why did I give it. Oh, I know why. So the reason why it's not so much the reason why I gave it a 4-star, but there was a part um when listening, because I don't know, I'm assuming it shows up in the book, but I don't know how it comes up in the book. But in the audio, there's a part where there's a is it a radio station? I think it's a radio station. Not I was going to say podcast, but I think it's a radio station that talks about what's going on in the missing or the report of the missing two girls, and how it comes up off of, at least in the audio, like it goes chapter whatever, and it goes because it's go oh let me backtrack because I'm getting ahead. So this book also have uh dual point of views, or multiple point of views I should say. So one of the point of views is the radio station, so when it goes in the audio version goes, oh, like chapter whatever, it goes, I think it says unknown character, but it's the radio station. And I feel like the part when, or the chapters where the radio station comes in, I feel like it's kind of pointless. I feel like it was trying to help. I don't know how I can explain it. I feel like as the listener, you're trying to feel like, oh, you're part of, the community of the Blackfeet reservation, hearing, any updates of how the investigation's going. But it doesn't come across that in the book, or at least in the audio. I'm sure in the book as well. But it felt, that part felt kind of clunky. But that's my only random hot take to it, but I did like it. The Is there a twist? It is. I wouldn't call it a twist, but the reveal of what happens. I don't know. I mean, it's not like I didn't like it. I just felt like it kind of. I don't know what I don't have big feelings on it. Um, it's just the big reveal of what happened, and then that was it. There was no and it doesn't have to be like a big tie in a bow, here you go, this is the ending, everyone's happy, but it ends up kind of um a sad, I wouldn't say sad, um y- well, it is sad, but I don't know how I want to say it, but yeah, I did like it though. um Oops, the next book, I'm just gonna segue awkwardly from there. The next book is Delicious in Dungeon, Volume 2. And I got this book from the library. So I got Volume 2 through 5, but I wasn't able to read 3 through 5. So I was only able to fit in a Volume 2. So Volume 2 picks up where we left off from Book 1, is that our adventuring party advancing into floor 3, and as they're going through it, they realize that the creatures that they encounter are they're not edible, so they have to figure out how to uh, survive. From floor 3 to get to floor 4. That was hard, um, and and uh, and try to get to the dragon and to Ladio's I think younger sister. I think that's his younger sister. I rated this book, or at least this volume, I rated it a 5. I feel like it was a nice. Well, actually, I read Looking for Smoke first, then I read this one. So I was gonna say it was a happy, moment, but I forgot we're doing this backwards. But like I said, I'm going to be very biased on this book because I'm a huge D&D fan. Still haven't played it, but still a fan. And I like the creatures in this one. I feel like the creatures in so far the first from 1 to 2 are clever, and how they treat it, or how when they cook the creatures up, they cook it like real food, like normal food. Um, so yeah, so I like that one. And then let's see. I need to change this. Let's go. There we go. The next one is the blonde one dies first by Janelle Willington, and I own this copy. Okay, I'm gonna explain the book, and then is this? Let me double check before I do this. No, this is not my lowest. Um, Oops. So I have an issue with this. It's not a big issue. It's not a big issue, but it's an issue, if that makes sense. So the book is about uh Devin. I think, is it Devin or Drew? Dang it, I forgot. I think it's Devin who's our main character. And her and her twin sister have never been, you know, like Ashley and Mary Kay Olsen. They've never had that twin telepathy. They've never, you know, wear the same clothes or they match, whatever. They've never been those type of twin sisters. And her sister Drew have is going to graduate. No, she's going to college a year early. So Devin, in a way, feels some type of way that her sister's leaving, or basically, well, she feels that Drew is leaving Devin, and it's summertime and Drew wants to kind of like leave for college early, a semester early. I think that's how that goes. And Devin's like, it's summer, hang out with friends and let's live it up. Let's plan a block party. So Drew's like, I don't know. So how the book is, or how the synopsis goes, that is these twin sisters. They're the main character. And, obviously they have different, they're basically two separate persons. They're not how media and people in real life, how we think of twins. Like they're always together. They're always twinning, I guess. So they go to a friend's house. They play with a Ouija board. I don't remember what friend it was, but they ended up going to one of their friends' house, play a Ouija board. Demon comes up, try to kill them all. And the and the rules of this demon that's trying to kill him, it's the horror film or horror trope rules, like, oh, the blonde one dies first, then the one that survive is, or usually dies, is the virgin, the jock, blah blah blah. The reason, oh, before I jump into that, let me make sure I missed anything. No. Okay. So despite all of that, my rating is a 2 star. I have an issue with it. I had a fun time. I want to preface that I had a great time. It was still entertaining, but I feel like there was no reason to have this twin, like, subplot, because it wasn't really anything until the very end of the book. I mean, yeah, I forget, like, when reading it, I completely forget that. And I don't know if this is Miss Janelle's, like, this was her idea, but with Drew and Devin, I keep forgetting that they're twins until Devin mentions, like, oh, we're twins and we can't even think alike. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing. Or like towards the end of the book, or before, is it before or even after? So before the twist, you know, it's like it's always been Devin that mentions that they're twins and they can't be on the same page. And then even with the twist is revealed, it kind of like still is kind of mentioned. I don't know. I didn't it That kind of confused me, kind of took me out. And then the twist at towards the end, um, it was a choice, I guess. Like it kind of gave me a little bit of like Scooby Doo vibes, but that's not a good analogy because I feel like it's supposed to be like Scooby Doo, but it didn't come off as Scooby Doo in a way, like how the Mystery Inc. gang revealed the monster, and it's like, oh, it Mr. Jenkins. It was kind of like that, but then it wasn't that. I know that wasn't the greatest explanation because that's how it was in the book, and the reasoning behind the twist was kind of, I don't want to say stupid because that's a wrong word. It just, I don't know, it didn't make sense, or it made sense, but then it was kind of like, okay, like that's it. But there was something else that I was going to mention. I wish I remember. I thought I wrote it down, but I don't know. And it didn't come off. Do I have the book? Let me show you the cover. Oh, so when I show you this cover, you're thinking of slasher. It's not that. Clearly, because I say demon. But I feel like I was bamboozled a little bit. Still had an entertaining time, but I feel like I was lied to. But here we are. Um, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Um, so I rated it 2 stars because there's a lot. Um, my next book, speaking of slasher, is You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight by Kaylin Byron. Oops. Yeah, by Kaylin Byron. I physically own this book. I don't know where I did with it. It's somewhere around here, but I'll post the book up here. And it's about our main character, Charity Curtis, and she has the job of her dreams as being the final girl at Camp Mirror Lake, and it's basically what's it called? It's basically where people get paid to be scared. Like they'll drag them out of their campsite, which actually technically I don't know if it still is, but it was a real thing in LA. Never done it. I was tempted to do it with some friends, but I'm like, that doesn't sound that sounds very too scary for me. Because what if? Never mind. But anyways, it is a legit thing. Instead of having like cabins, it was actually tents, and you'll be up in the mountains somewhere in LA, and you have to sign a waiver. I'm going off the rails a little bit. You have to sign a waiver to be like, oh, I'm allowing the actors to drag me out of my tent to scare me, and they get to put you in somewhere for like an hour or two in the middle of the night. That's what this book reminds me of. And I don't know if that was the inspiration of this, but at some point it was a legit thing before COVID. So, and you're asking me, how do you know this, Brittany? It's because me and a few of my friends were thinking about doing this, and we're like, no, never mind. It felt too real for to do that. But and my mom probably would never had me actually do that. But anyways, back to You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight. So basically that's what she does. She plays the final girl. They reenact a slasher film called The Curse of the Camp Mirror Lake. And it's the last weekend of the summer. And Charity finds out that some of her, I think one or two of her coworkers go missing, and and come to find out, she's literally playing the final girl for real, like for real, for real. And I rated this book a 3.5 stars, and so this is another book. Um, Overall, I had fun. It's a short read, short, quick read. I think this book is about 15, maybe 20 chapters. But the twist at the end, and the twist and the ending of the book, um well, actually before the twist, there's a, a point that something happens with our main character, and one of the other characters throw out this like random piece of information, and I'm like, where does this come from? Like, and I don't know, maybe it's me, or um but I do notice in Kaylin's books. I've only read, I think I read 3 of her books. This would be the third book that I read from her. That towards it's always, for some reason, at the towards the end of the book, there's this random throwaway. I wouldn't say throwaway, but it's supposed to be this big information line, but it's like we're in like three, I would say between 4 to 5 chapters, almost being done with the book. I think this one was actually 4 chapters before the book ends, and then the twist happens, and then a slight another twist happens at the very end. And it kind of it throws me off when she does this. So I don't know if I'm reading this wrong, or is this like, I don't know. I can't explain how, but it's just I don't want to say it frustrates me, but it takes me out of the book, especially so close to the end where this happens, where two actually it was technically two big point or too big information. It happens so close to the book ending, and then it kind of like I feel like she has to rush to end the book. I'm like, well, if you want to add this, these two big information, make the book at least 30. I mean, still a short book if you do 30 chapters, but um yeah, I don't know. It just I noticed she does that. She did that with what's that book I read? Um, she kind of did it in Cinderella's Dead, but there was another book. Oh, Sleep Like Death. She kind of did that then, where there was like a big piece of information, but she did in like towards the last couple of chapters of the book. Um, and I'm like, why is that? And I don't know if she forgets that. Oh, I forgot to add this detail. Let me do it here and like just wrap it up. But yeah, I don't know. But anyways, let's move on. Because that's I can rant and rave all day about that without trying to spoil it anything. So my second to last book is this thing. It's called This Thing Between Us by Gus. I didn't write the author's name in my notes, but it's Gus Romero. Let me look it up. I think it's Romero is his last name. Do do do. This thing. Oh, right here. It's yeah, Gus um Moreno. Moreno, that's how you pronounce it. And this book I heard that one is really good. I mean, it is. I'll get to that in a second. And it's also like super scary. And oh, and before I forget, I did listen to this on Libby. And I would say it's not super scary, um, at least to me, but it does give out like kind of thriller vibes, kind of like um how do I want to explain it? Like more like, oh, like, ooh, what's gonna happen next kind of thing. Like, oh, I'm nervous of what's gonna happen next kind of thing. So it's not like where I mean, in a way, I guess it in a looking at it now, I guess it could be super scary because it's about a home device like and or I don't want to trigger them because they'll be like, how can I help you? But anyways, but uh we did I write what I did not. So let me just read it what the book is about. Um without giving too much away. Um Paranormal, that's the word I was looking for. It's kind of like that. It's not but it's not even that. Oh, I guess it is, depending how you look at it. But to me it comes off more thriller, like eerie thriller than like spooky thriller, if that makes sense. I don't know if that does. But let me read it. It oh, that doesn't help me. Hold on. Oh, this doesn't really okay, let me try my best to just explain it in my words. I don't know if I can do that. But anyway, so it's about what's his name? Thiago and his wife Vera buys a kind of a smart speaker like what we use today, but it's called an Itza. I think that's how you pronounce it. And Miss Itza basically allegedly traumatized both Vera and Thiago throughout the when the moment um Vera buys Itza, and it takes kind of it goes on the journey with Thiago losing his wife and, trying to get rid of Itza. And it's the first half of the book got hooked. I'm like, this is creepy, kind of situation. But towards the middle and the end, it took a turn. And what kind of turn that was? Good question, because I have no idea what happened. I can't even tell you how does the book end because I couldn't tell you. I rated this book a two star, and I was tussling with the rating for a very long time. I think originally I was going to rate it at most a 1.5. But I still, I still, it was still entertaining in the literally in the first half. Second half to the end, I don't know. Maybe this book's not for me. It's from, the cool people who understand it. I am not that person. I mean, I'm it literally towards the middle and the end went over my head. Um, but the first half, that's all I can talk about because that's all I remember. Um, it was good, and that was the reason why I decided to pick to listen to it, so I can like hear it and try to catch the context clues, hear the eeriness of the narrator, and it kind of worked. But like I said, I still have no idea. I don't remember how it ended, to be honest. Um, so uh, there's that. But moving on, because I have no other words for that book. That's on me, I should say. That's me as a person. I didn't get it. For those who get it, please explain it to me. Or Mr. Gus, let's have a cup of tea and maybe you can help a girl out because I had no idea what was going on. But other than that, yeah, I rated it a 2 star. Um, but my last book is The Black Girl Survive in this one. And this is by numerous of authors. I didn't write them down because I don't know if it tells me. Let me see. The Black, oops, that is not how you spell girl. Nope, I'm spelling girl wrong. Survive. Oh, here we go. So on Goodreads, it says it's by Desiree S. Evans, but it's also, oh, here we go. So it's by also Desiree S. Evans, Sharika J. Fennell, Brittany Morris, L. McKinney, Makika Mulite, and then Maritza Mulite. Oh, are they sisters? Um, and these are short stories. It's an anthology of 15, I think it's 15 short stories, and the main characters is all black female, and they're front and center of horror spaces like fighting ghosts, fighting demons, monsters. I think there's one was an alien in it, um, and face down death itself. And I rated this book a 4 star, only because I wish some of the stories that were in here um, were actually standalone books, their own like physical copy instead of sharing like, a couple pages in one book. Um, I would say this book would be a great introduction into horror. It's not scary. Well, to me, it's not. Let me rephrase that. To me, they weren't scary. They were very. Some were very light. I don't want to say lighthearted. That's weird. Um, they were light, I should say. It wasn't like deep, heavy, traumatizing or anything. And all the characters survive because they're all Black females, and they survive in their horror-esque tropes that they're in. And I feel like you get a little bit of everything. So if you're not too sure uh, what to start in, what type of horror, or a horror trope, I think this one would be your best bet because you get all of it. You get your psycho killer, you get your, like I said, your ghost, or your paranormal. Um, I think I said, little scary demon, fighting. Uh, I think I want to say there was an alien one, or was I tripping? Or at least I thought it was, or But anyways, I think that one's a good one, and I did read it that, and I think that's it. I think that's it. That's all the 10 books I've read. Sorry if my I'm so sorry if this sounds so uh confusing, chaotic. Like I said, I've been trying to film this video all day yesterday, almost all well, half a day today. Um I apologize. But I hope you still enjoyed it. I hope it was still entertaining. Um I'm not going to make a November TBR. I don't think I am. Usually I'll make this video my wrap up, and then the next video will be my TBR for for the month next. Um, I'm not gonna make one because I have no idea what I'm reading. Because I'm already currently reading books now, but I may change because it is Native American Native American Heritage Month. I don't know why I can't say that. So I may change my TBR. Actually, I may make a video. I may not. I don't know. We'll see. If I don't make a video, you'll see in my wrap up for November what books I'm reading. Because some of the books I want to read, I have to get from the library, and hopefully, I can get the books that I want from the library in the next few days. We'll see. That's why I'm not making a video because I don't know what my TBR is going to look like for this month. But but yeah, that is it. I'm gonna wrap this video up. Um, like, comment, and subscribe. Support your local library. Support your indie bookstores. I'll see you guys on the flip side. I guess I don't know. I'm trying to work out my outro here. Anyways, I'll see you later. Bye.